Hi, welcome back. Don't believe it if someone tells you that you can simply learn and improve your spoken English if you just read this one book, or if you just watch this video, or if you just take this course. That's not going to happen. And the key thing is, without putting it into practice, you're never going to speak English as fluently as you would like to. Unfortunately, that is the truth. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today, because if you really think about it, that might be exactly what's stopping you from making progress. Do you ever feel like you've got no motivation at all when it comes to English learning, or that you're just going through the motion every day, doing the things that you have planned for yourself without really giving it too much thought? Or you're not at all enthusiastic about what you're doing, you have no idea where you're going, and you constantly feel frustrated because you feel like you've made no progress for the past few months or few years. So you become more and more anxious, you start to look online, mindlessly trying to find this perfect approach. And we all know at this point that that doesn't exist. And this is when you need to stop and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I learning English? What am I going to use it for? Because at the end of the day, English is just a language. We use it as a tool to express ourselves and to eventually interact with others. And all the other things that we do in order to learn this language, like learning grammar, improving our pronunciation, remembering new words, and things like that, we can think of so many different things. All of those things serve one purpose, which is to help us speak the language. And if you haven't thought about that for a long time, I think right now you need to stop whatever you're doing and really think it through. Why are you improving your English? What are you going to use it for? What is the cause? You need to have a cause. You need to have a practical reason why you want your English to be better. I'll take myself as an example, and I've talked about this in some of my previous videos as well. The period where I noticed the improvement in my spoken English is after I started working. And that's when I needed the language to communicate with some of my colleagues, to translate for meetings and other different kinds of events. I practiced this language on a daily basis because I had to. That was my job. And that's also how I learned through my mistakes. I got more and more comfortable using the language. I got more and more accurate using the language to express myself. But I did all those things not to improve my English primarily. I did it because that was part of my job, and I was expected to use this language to complete all those tasks. But that's exactly what I meant. We need a solid cause to push ourselves, especially when it comes to improve our spoken English, or English in general. Again, like I said before, English is a language, it's a tool that we use in order to interact with other people. And it's very different from you trying to practice your spoken English at home, because those are very low-stake environments where you have pretty much nothing to lose. You can make mistakes, pauses, think about it for as long as you need to, and I would say you probably would not get embarrassed if you did make any silly mistakes. Whereas if you do have to interact with another human being, is a completely different scenario. That said, I do realize that not everyone who wants to improve their English has the opportunity to put it into practice, whether for work or for study. But at the very least, I would recommend, if possible, try practicing your English with another person. You might have a friend or a teacher or anyone who might be willing to sit down and have a conversation with you in English. Because when you're put on the spot, trying to come up with something to say or to interact with another human being in this foreign language, your brain goes through a very rigorous process where it's trying to come up with the best thing you can think of to say. And when you do that frequently enough, you will notice very soon that you're improving. We need a motivation to use the language. And a lot of times we can't simply rely on our strong will, our determination. There has to be an exterior factor that drives you so. And you will find that really helpful, especially when things get pretty muddy, you feel really unmotivated, but you still have to complete that thing. So that's going to be what keeps pushing you forward. And that's exactly what happened to me. I feel like during the years where I worked at the school that I had to communicate with Canadian teachers all the time, I had to use English whether I like it or not. Now, all things aside, I'm not saying that foundation is not important. Of course, it's important for us to learn grammar. It's important for us to have a good pronunciation so that we can understand other people better and other people can understand us better as well. We also need to practice our listening, all those kind of things. And again, there are simply means to an end. They all serve the same purpose. And I hope this video provides some ideas or insights that you haven't thought about or you haven't thought about for a long time. So hopefully that would make a difference to what you do as your day-to-day practice.